everyone, I'm Alex and I'm a business support specialist here at Evernote. Now, we know how hard it is to be productive, especially when you're at work, so we've come up with a way to help you get more done. I'm really excited today to demo our newest business feature, Spaces. Now, just to let you know, I will be demoing on Evernote Web in the Chrome browser today, but Spaces is available on Mac, Windows, iOS, Android, as well as the Safari and Chrome web browsers for Evernote Web. Now, before I totally start nerding out with my demo, I'm going to go ahead and show you this little intro video just so you can see what all of this excitement is about.
Great teams need space. Like a space for your design team to collect, organize, and share, so their ideas can quickly take off. A space for your sales team to pinpoint the good stuff, so they can pitch the latest innovations. A space for your logistics team to stay on top of everything, so final products get delivered right on time. And most of all, a space for any team to work even better together, so you can get to your very best work. Evernote Business, now with Spaces.
Alright guys, so Spaces is the easiest way to share all of your ideas, projects, and any information with your team. So today, we'll go over how to create a space, how to organize your content in Spaces, and then how to share all of this great content with your entire team. Now, taking a look at a space, you can fill it with notes and notebooks, and then make sure that all of that information is waiting in your team's account for you. So in this space here, we have our team's hiring process. You can see there are different notebooks to kind of bring those candidates through that hiring process, and then you can easily see all of the notes within the notebooks. Now, at the top here, you'll see a What's New section. And this is really exciting because it easily allows you to see all of the information that your team has recently updated or added to the space right here in this easily scrollable section. Another really cool feature that you'll see here is the pinned notes section. Now, this is one of my favorites because it allows you to easily draw important information to your team's attention. So, for example, this note here on how to use the space. So that way our team knows exactly what the workflow is for this space and where to find all of the great resources. For the sake of this demo, let's say we're going to help our marketing team with a social media campaign. So I'm going to go ahead and create a new space. To do that, I'll go to my sidebar, scroll down to the bottom, and click the green New Space button. And then from here, I'll name my space, Social Media Campaign. And then you'll see there's an option to put a description of what this space is about. So to make sure my team knows exactly what we're going to be doing in this space, I'll put a brief description. Resources for our upcoming marketing campaign. Now, you'll see that you have the option to list this space in the directory for your business. For now, I'm going to put a pin in this because we're going to go over this a little bit later, but I'm going to uncheck this because I don't want to share this space with my entire business at this moment. So then I'll click the Create button. And then this makes our space. So to get started within our space and to make sure all of my content is easily organized, I'm going to click the Create a Notebook option. And then here, I'll type in the name of my new notebook, which will be our weekly meeting notes. Me and the team like to meet every week, so just to make sure we can keep track of everything that we're talking about, I'm going to make sure that we put all of that content into this notebook specifically. Now, if you have an existing notebook that you want to add to a space, you can navigate to your notebook kingdom, which is over here in the left-hand side of your sidebar, and you can click on Notebooks. Now, to move a note to a space, you can either right-click on the notebook. So for example, I have this there's our weekly meetings notebook. We can right-click on the notebook and click Move Notebook. And then from here, I'll choose the social media campaign space that we just created together, and then I'll click the Move button. So then when we go back to our space, and I'll collapse that menu item there, I can go back to my social media campaign space here in the sidebar, and then we see my new notebook, as well as that other weekly meeting notebook that we already had that we probably don't need anymore. So at this point, I'll remove it from my space. Now to do that, I'm going to right-click on the notebook, hit Move Notebook, and then click the Remove from Space option. And there you go. Now that we've created our space with our notebook, let's start adding our notes to it. To do that, I'm going to go to my notes list. So I'm going to click All Notes up here in the top left-hand corner, And then what I'll do is I'll move this help article that I clipped from the web clipper earlier into our social media campaign space. So to do that, I'll click and hold on this note, and then I can drag and drop it right to the social media campaign space. So from here, you'll get a little notification that lets you know that the access is going to be changed for this specific note, because when you move it into a space, those permissions are there for that space. So we'll click Move because we're sure what we want to do here. And then I'll go back to my social media campaign space, and I can see my new note as well as my existing notebook in that space. So there's a few more notes I want to make sure that I get into this space so the team has all of the relevant information necessary. So I'll go back to my notes list, and I'll look for one of our previous meeting notes because I know that we already had a meeting and took great notes on it. So from here, I'll click on that note, and then I'll drag and drop it to the social media campaign space. And then once I go to that space, you'll notice that the note is not in my notebook, but it is in the space. Now I can easily add the note to that notebook by clicking on it and then dragging it to the name of the notebook, and then it adds it to the notebook for me. So now that we've got a few notes in this space, I really want to make sure that I draw my team's attention to the most important items in this space. So I'm going to pin some notes. Now to do that, you're going to click on the Pin Notes button right here in the middle of this part of the screen over here in the top right-hand corner. And once I click that, I have the option to check off any of the notebooks that I want to pin to my space. So I'll choose this one, and then I'll click the Done button in the top right-hand corner, and then you see that nice little preview of the notes title here. So now that my space is looking pretty good, we've got some notebooks, we got some notes, I want to make sure that I get all of this great information to my team. So to do that, I'm going to invite them to this space. To invite someone to a space, there's a green and white invite button in the top right-hand corner. You can go ahead and click on Invite, and from here, you can type in the person's name or email address. So I've already shared with them previously, so I'm going to type in John and Amanda. And then when I'm finished typing in their names, I'll click the Send button. Cool. So now, once I click Send, this space will automatically show up in their account next time they open up Evernote. Sometimes you're going to want to share a space with everyone in the business, and you don't really want to type in everyone's email address. Now, if you were already an Evernote business user, you may be familiar with the business home and publishing notebooks. With the addition of spaces, what we now do instead of having that business home is list the spaces in your space directory. Now, you'll see your space directory in your sidebar on the left-hand side. So when you scroll down to the bottom, you'll see a little business icon with Spaces directory next to it. When you click on it, you'll be able to see a list of all spaces that are publicly available for you and the members of your company. So for example, you have the option to join a space, and when you click that button, you can easily just add it to your spaces list. It'll show you if you are a member of that space, as well as if you need to request access to that space, you're allowed to do that, and that will send a notification to the owner or people who have invite access to that space, and that will allow you to join that space. So with listing your spaces, if you already have an existing space and you want to make sure that you share it with your company, you can click on the name of the space. So for example, I'll go back to my social media campaign space just so I can show you. And then when I click the invite button in the top left-hand corner, you'll see that you have the options to add more people. You have the options to edit their invite privileges. So for example, you can have view only, edit only, or edit and invite access. Now, we don't want to add people individually, so I'll close this window, and then I'll click the 3 dots in the top right-hand corner, and then I'm going to click Manage Space. So when you click Manage Space, that's what allows you to list the space in your Spaces directory. So then we'll see that same checkbox we first saw when we first created the space. And then you have a few options for how you want to list this space in your directory as far as the permissions. So you can have it where others request access, as we saw earlier. You can see others can join on their own with view only access, or view and edit access, or view, edit, and invite access. So for now, I'm going to change it to others can join with view access, so that way, they're not messing anything up in there that we have already created, but they can still see everything. Now, if you're the admin on the account, what you can do is manage all of these great spaces from the admin console. So to access the admin console, if I'm on Evernote Web, I'll click the key when I go to access my account settings, or I'll go to Help and then Admin Console within the desktop applications. Now, once I pull up the admin console, in the left side, you'll see the option for spaces underneath of content. So once you click that, you'll see all of the spaces, that have been created within your business account. Now, this includes both publicly listed spaces as well as private spaces that people have created. Now, you have a few options for managing the spaces from within this admin console. You can join the space yourself. You can add other members of your business to this space. You can remove members from the space, as well as delete the space from this admin console as well. Well guys, that's Spaces. So today we learned how to create a space, how to put content into a space, how to share this content with everyone on your team, as well as how admins manage those spaces within the admin console. So if you ever have any more questions, we do offer a Getting Started with Spaces webinar that us on the business team have been hosting weekly, as well as an additional Getting Started with Evernote Business webinar that we host monthly. So feel free to check out any of those links or resources. Additionally, if you don't have Evernote Business currently, we do offer a free trial. You can check it out at evernote.com/business. Thanks for joining us today, guys. It was so nice hanging out with you and showing you some of the cool features of Spaces and Evernote Business. And I hope to see you all in the future soon.